everyone!
Hi everyone, I'm Usra.
And I'm Mera. But before we jump into our lesson, I'm going to share my screen so that we can share something with you all. So Usra, can you let me know when you can see it?
Sure will. And it's loading. Still loading. Yep, we can see it. And why don't we hide the sharing screen bar?
All right. So do you all remember the coolest project competition?
I definitely do.
Well, guess what?
What?
Registration is now open, so all of you can sign up right after this live stream. We've been working on Scratch, but if you have any other computer science skill, you can use that to compete as well. And this competition runs every year, so if you don't compete this year, you can always participate next year.
And look, this is one of last year's features. Let's take a look at her project.
So let's play it.
Forest is our only piece of sound. Changes in sprites. And it looks like this is a game. So click on the hunters to catch them. There's a score.
Wow, this game looks really fun, but let's head back to our presentation.
That was a fun game. You all could be featured. And because of that game, she's a computer science engineer.
And you can be too. The resources will be available for you after class, so you all can sign up.
And before we get started, remember to be respectful in the chat. Failure to do so will result in you being banned from the live stream. And with that being said, namaste, everyone.
Welcome.
I hope you remember me from last week. I'm Usra.
And you might remember me from week 1. I'm Mera. This is week 4 of the Starting from Scratch series, and we're super excited to be here with you.
Before we get started, make sure to click the red subscribe button below and click on the bell to get notified so that you don't miss a live show. So, Mera, what are we doing today?
As always, today's agenda includes introductions, a project showcase from last week's challenge. We'll be doing a Scratch project, and then we'll finish with a game on Mentimeter. The 2 new things that we'll learn today is how to create a game and coordinate placement on Scratch.
These are all of your Scratch mentors. You might have met some of them over the past 3 weeks, and you'll get to meet some more as the weeks go along. And these are their Scratch usernames, so make sure to follow them on Scratch and take a picture if you need to.
So Usra and I are going to be your mentors, and for those of you who are new, my name is Mera. I'm from Virginia in the United States, and I'm in 10th grade.
And I'm Usra, and I'm also from Virginia in the United States, and I'm in 12th grade, and I'll be your guest mentor today.
So last week, we learned how to add sound to make our projects more detailed.
Does this mean it's studio time?
It sure does. Let's switch over and take a look at a couple projects that were made from last week.
And while that loads up, make sure to check the class resources in the description or towards the end of this live stream in the chat. And it looks like
this project was made by Coding 2705. It looks like they use the correct file naming protocol, they have their instructions, and they have their notes and credits. So good job, and let's play it.
There's a use of sound. Oh. It is Bernie.
Wow, every time I see Bernie get eaten, I still get surprised.
Me too.
This was a really good project. Let's take a look at another one.
Excellent job for following the requested protocol and submitting in the correct studio. Now we'll have this one load.
And it looks like this was made by Mistress Brain. She also has her instructions, notes and credits, and follows the proper file naming protocol. So good job. And let's take a look at her project.
There's a variation. Poor Cocky.
Oh no, the dog ate the chicken.
And they used different sprites to make the story. So we didn't
get points for creativity. You did a really good job.
So excellent job. And because of that, we also have to feature more people. But we don't have time, so we want to acknowledge some of you. And then here are some of our users. Look at how many coders followed all the requested protocol. What an excellent job. They also not only followed the requested protocol, but they did the correct file naming, they personalized their stories, and they put notes and credits. So that being said, excellent job.
Woo!
And so today, just like the coolest project we showed you, we're going to be creating a game. So we're going to be game designers for a day.
Let's get started. Today's game is called The Hungry Hare. This project is inspired by Zoe from the Scratch team. So thank you, Zoe.
Thank you, Scratch team.
So let's actually play the game and see what it's about.
So the game we're making will be Jumping Hare Game. Basically, this hare is so hungry, so we have to help her get food. So to play this game, we must jump over the balls and eat the strawberries, or else we lose. Like so.
Hey, Usra, do you know the difference between a hare and a rabbit?
I sure do. While a hare has long ears, a rabbit has small ears. While a rabbit has small legs, a hare has powerful hind legs. And as professional coders, we want to stay organized and plan out what we are creating so that we know what to do for each step.
We don't only have one step, 2, or 3. We actually have 4 steps. This is why we need to plan, because game making is so detailed.
One of our steps is to make the hare jump with those strong hind legs.
The second step is to change its costume, and this hare appears to have 3.
Our third step is we'll have to add a ball sprite so that we have a challenge in our game.
And last but not least, our final step will be to add a strawberry sprite so that we can feed the hare. Today's file naming protocol will be hare game followed by your first name. So our example says hare game Aya, and it follows upper camel case style. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen so that everyone can follow along. And as always, our first step is to log into Scratch if you haven't already, and you can do this by going to scratch.mit.edu.
And once you've done that, we're going to create a project, and your screen should look like this after it loads. So we'll have it's creating project.
And to follow the file naming protocol, we're going to name the file hare game and then my name, Mera. And you all put in your first name.
So let's go over the stage setup. We want our sprite to become a hare and the white backdrop to change to blue sky. So how would we do that, Mera?
That's a great question. We'll need to do a couple of things. First, we'll replace the cat sprite with the hair sprite, and then we'll change the white backdrop to the blue sky backdrop.
The game is called The Hungry Hare, not The Hungry Cat. So let's start off by deleting the cat sprite we won't be using.
And you can do that by clicking on this little trash can right above the sprite. And look, it's gone. So next, we'll choose the blue sky backdrop by clicking the Change Backdrop button under the stage.
Your screen should look like this, and we're going to pick the blue sky backdrop.
That's right. And how should we speed up the process of picking our backdrop, Usra? You all can put your answers in the chat.
We'll give you a couple seconds to do so. So a couple more seconds. How about 5 more seconds? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you didn't know, we're actually going to be using the search bar. And so we're going to be typing blue sky.
And here it is. Let's see what's in the Backdrops tab. So it looks like there's 2 backdrops. Should we keep both of them, Usra?
We'll only need one of them for this game, so why don't we delete the first one?
Okay, so we'll select the white backdrop and click on the trash button, and now it's gone. Let's go back to our code workspace. So what was the name of this game called again, Usra? The Hungry Hippo? The Hungry Horse? I can't remember.
It's called The Hungry Hare, so we'll need the hair sprite.
Oh, right, the Hungry Hare. So like everyone said, we'll use the search bar to find the hare and save time.
And there's our hare. It's loading. And there we see it. So remember when we said we would have 3 costumes? Let's check out the Costumes tab to look at our costumes.
So it looks like we have a sitting hare, a hare in the air, and a landing hare. It's important that as coders, we label our costumes so that we stay organized.
So for the first one, the hare is sitting, so let's name it Sitting Hare. And Mera, you can zoom in just to make it more visible. Yeah, just like so. Then for the next one, our hare is jumping, so we'll name it Jumping Hare. Like so. And our final costume has a hare landing, so we'll name it Landing Hare.
So now that we know what our costumes are, we're going to go back to the code tab and start using the blocks.
So we want the hare to be in this location. And Mira is going to show us the location we want, just like that. So throughout the game, which is why we want this hare basically to stay there. So we're going to use the coordinate block.
Right.
And so this coordinate block allows you to set the sprite to a specific location on your stage.
So did you know that there's a coordinate plane behind what we see when we're talking to a computer? And this is how the computer knows where to put the objects we move about the stage when we code. It doesn't look exactly like this, but this is just to give you an idea.
And so under the Motions tab, this block will default to the coordinate that your sprite is on. And so right now you can see it's at -201 and -123. So one thing to keep in mind is this block can't work by itself. So that's why we'll need the when green flag clicked block so that it can be activated. And so your code should look like this.
Let's see what happens when we drag the hare to a different location and then test our code.
It's important to practice our professional coding skills so that we can detect any bugs in our code. And so you'll notice that every time you click on the green flag, the hare will go back to the coordinate in our code.
That means our code worked. And since we've placed our hair in the spot that we want it to, I think it's time to make the hair jump. And to do that, we're going to use the Change Y by block, and that's going to be under the Motion tab. You might have to scroll down to find it since there are so many motion blocks. So this block allows your sprite to move both up and down depending on the value that you put in it. So when we put a positive value in this block, the hair will move upwards.
So does that mean when we put a negative value, the hair will move downwards?
Exactly, Usra. And like we said earlier, this grid is just an example. Scratch usually uses much smaller coordinates that we can't even see.
So we're going to drag a block that has a positive 10 and a block that has a negative 10 into our workspace, like what Mera just did.
And now let's test our code again. But instead of clicking on the green flag, we'll click on each of the blocks and see what they do.
Exactly. So when we click the positive 10 block, the hair moves upwards, like so. And when we click on the negative 10 block, the hair moves downwards.
The hair seems to be taking very small jumps. I think we need the hair to jump a bit higher and on command, meaning that we want to control when the hair jumps. So which block do you think we should use, Usra?
We're going to use the repeat block. The reason we'll use this block is because it creates a loop of the block inside of it a certain number of times. But the question is, what's a loop?
Hi, Usra.
Hi, Mera.
Hi, Usra.
Hi, Mera.
Hi, Usra.
Hi, Mera.
That's a loop. It's when something is repeated over and over again. In coding, it's when a sequence of code and instructions are repeated again and again. So when we add a repeat by 10 block, it means that the blue motion block is going to activate 10 times. So we're going to put it on the inside.
So basically, you're telling me that loops make coding simpler, and I can just do this in 2 blocks?
Yes, and they make coding more efficient too.
And so with all of that information, if we put repeat 10 and change y by 10, then that means we would move up 100 coordinates. This is because we are multiplying 10 from the repeat block and 10 from the change y by block, and that equals 100.
Exactly. If you love math, you're going to love loops.
Do you love math, Mera?
I do. Do you, Usra?
I do love math.
So if we put negative 10 for the change by y block, then we would move down 100 coordinates.
That's right, because 10 times negative 10 is negative 100, which means we're moving down 100 coordinates.
So let's go back and do that now.
And so we'll need to repeat this block twice for each change by y block. And after we've done this, we're going to connect it like Mera has done.
And now let's test our code to detect any bugs. So now the hair goes up and down with just one click. How cool is that?
Very. I love being a game designer.
Yeah, me too.
Because I love being a game designer, I have a great idea.
What is it, Usra?
What if we could use our space bar to jump instead of our boring mouse?
That is a great idea.
But one problem. How do we do that exactly?
Don't worry, we have a solution, all thanks to the when space key block. When we use this block, it allows us to activate the code using the space bar on our keyboard, and it can be found under the Events tab.
So when we connect this block to the code, it should work, right?
Let's test our code to answer that question. So I'm using my space bar, and it looks like the hair is jumping.
It works then. So we've done one step, which is making the hair jump, and now we'll do our second step. which is?
Now we're going to make the hair change costumes.
So we've done a lot of coding. Let's make our computer do it for us, and that's why we'll need the next costume block. This block makes the computer change the costume of the hair in a continuous loop. Kind of like if I changed my shirt 3 times over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, and we're going to place the next costume block under the coordinate block because we want the hair to run from the beginning of the code.
So why don't we test our code just to make sure?
All right, I will click on the green flag. And it looks like our code allows the hair to change costumes once. So we need to change it so that it does it repeatedly. What block do you think we need to use?
Let's put our responses in the chat. And we'll give you a couple seconds to do so. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll need the forever block. The forever block creates a loop.
This will be our second loop block, remember? Before we use the repeat block, which puts a certain code to loop for a certain amount of times. But with the forever block, the loop goes on forever.
And ever?
And ever.
Just as a reminder, a loop is a sequence of instructions that is repeated over and over again.
We'll need to place the next costume block within the forever block so that the costumes are in a loop. And after doing so, I'm going to connect this block to the coordinate block, like this.
Let's test our code again. Whoa, that hair has one speedy costume change. We need to change that. So what block should we use to give the hair time to change costumes?
So I think we'll need the wait block to delay the code. And we're going to place this right before the next costume block. And because we did this, we want the hair to change costumes with the 1 second in between.
And with that being said, let's practice our professional coding habits again and test our code.
Look, the hair has slowed down, but maybe a little too slow. This seems like a tortoise, not a hare. We need to change that. So what wait time do you think we should change it to, Usra?
Let's try 0.25 seconds. And here's our code. This would be a great example of a trial and error case where we keep trying until we get it right. And it looks like this seems like a good pace.
Yeah, I think so too. So now that we've made our hair jump and we changed the costumes and it looks like it's running, what's next?
So in order to make the ball the obstacle, we have to code the answer to the following statement. If the hair touches the ball, the game will stop. So let's find the ball sprite.
So I'm going back to the sprite page. And let's search for a hair.
Yeah, because everyone is telling us to do so.
There's the ball. Now that we have 2 sprites, we need to make sure that we're coding on the right workspace. So you can check up here, or you can look under the stage to make sure that you're coding in the right workspace. So if we move the ball closer to the hair, it looks like the ball is too big for the hair to jump over. So why don't we change the size of the ball?
So let's figure out what size works best for the ball. It could be 90, it could be 80, it could be 70. So test it until you're happy. And so
I think 80 looks good.
I think so too.
What about you, Usra?
I think that's a good number. And so we want you all to tell us what you did to change yours.
And we don't want the ball to be too small, but I think we still need there to be a difference in size. So let's go back to the hair workspace and make the hair a little bit bigger. So we're going to do the same thing that we did with the ball, but with our hair instead. And we'll change the hair from 100 to, let's try 110. I think we can go a little bigger. How about 120? I like this. What do you think, Usra?
I think that's the right size. And this is also another case of trial and error. So now that we have the right size for our ball and our hair, we need the ball to glide from the starting point to the end point, or the starting destination to the end destination. So let's start with moving the ball to the starting point, which will be at the bottom right of the stage.
There we go.
And so let's pull the go to coordinate block to identify the coordinate position the ball starts on. And so Mera,
remember, yeah?
Give us a reminder of what this block does.
So when the coordinate block didn't work for the hair, it's not going to work for the ball unless we use a certain block. And which block is that?
You can type your answers in the chat, and I'll reveal it in 3, 2, let me give you 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have someone saying using the glide block, and you're actually one step ahead. But first, we're going to use the when green flag clicked. Yeah, that's right. And we're using this block because we want the code to start at that point.
Let's test our code again. So if we move the ball to a random position on the stage and click on the green flag, it goes automatically back to the starting point.
So now let's make the ball move from the starting position to the hair. And this allows us to grab the XY coordinates for the ball's new location. So let's test that out.
And it looks like the block goes to the right position. So we're on track.
And so now let's move the ball to the starting position on the stage, because this is where the ball will be at the end position.
Right, so if the ball is starting over here and we want it to come to the hair, we're going to need to move the ball to the left corner.
And so we're going to use the glide for a certain amount of time to our XY block, which is what one of our viewers said. So great job. And so this block glides objects from their starting point to a specific coordinate.
So why don't we test our code?
And so now the ball glides from the starting position to the end position. And so it worked.
Wait, the code only ran once, but we need it to keep running over and over again from the starting position all the way to the ending position. So do we need to use the repeat or the forever block? Type in your answer in the chat.
And this is a side note. One thing to keep in mind is that Scratch has 3 loop blocks, but for our lesson, we're only going to need 2.
So which block will it be?
That's right, we're going to need the forever block, because it will continue from the starting position to the ending position forever, like many of you said. And so why don't we test our code again?
Great idea, Usra. It's great to see that you all are always practicing professional coding. And look, the ball keeps coming.
And so that means our code worked. But wait, doesn't the game stop if the hair touches the ball?
Yeah, according to our game plan, if the hair touches the ball, the game will stop.
So now we'll need the wait until the ball touches the hair block. And so this will require 2 blocks.
So first we have the wait until block. And that makes a planned action wait until something triggers it to happen.
What does that mean? What's a trigger?
So a trigger is when X makes Y happen. For example, if you surprise me,
Boo.
I scream.
Oh, so it's if I study for a test, I get a good grade.
Exactly.
So with that being said, our trigger would be the hair.
That's right. So we're going to go to the Sensing tab, and you'll see a block that says touching mouse pointer. But we said that it's going to be the hair, so if you change it to hair, this is what your code will look like.
And so now our code looks like that, which Mera just said. And but how do we make it work? Because the forever block does not allow for a new block to be added.
You're right. We're going to use another when green flag click block.
So we should probably test our code since we just added a new block.
Good idea.
And so you'll notice that both when green flag clicked, buttons are highlighted.
But when the ball hits the hair, the second set of code is no longer highlighted.
The first set of code has a forever loop, which is why it stays highlighted while the game runs. So, which is exactly what we want it to do.
But the second set of code doesn't have a loop, which is why it's no longer staying highlighted after the ball touches the hair. But that only allows the hair to have an obstacle the first run of the ball. After that, the hair won't have an obstacle and the game won't be as challenging. But we need to fix that.
So we have to add a forever loop. That makes the ball a challenge every time the hair jumps or tries to jump. And so let's test our code again.
Now both sets of code are highlighted, meaning that we're running forever, but
according to our game plan, if the hair touches the ball, the game will stop. But the hair is touching the ball and the game is not stopping. So we need to use the stop all block to stop the game.
And now let's test our code.
And it looks like both
stopped.
Yep.
So both sets of code are working. And when the ball hits the hair, both sets of code are no longer highlighted, meaning that the game has stopped. And that's what we wanted. So the game stops when the hair touches the ball, which means the code is working.
And so we've completed 3 of the 4 steps. Let's complete our final step, which is adding our strawberry sprite. And so let's go back to the sprite page.
And let's type in strawberry in the search bar so that we don't have to scroll for a long time.
Whoa, that strawberry is bigger than both the hair and the ball. We need to make it smaller.
Yeah, let's figure out what size works best for the strawberry. So 90, 70, maybe 50. What do you think, Usra?
I think we should test it until we're happy.
Yeah, I think 50 is good.
And so just like the ball sprite, we will do the same thing with the berry. Is there a way we can shorten this task?
Yeah, let's go back to the ball workspace so that we can backpack the code that glides to the ball.
You'll notice we have the same code as before.
So instead of rewriting the code, we're going to backpack it so that we can reuse it for the strawberry. So click on the Backpack tab, and this bar will appear.
And so now let's go to our strawberry sprite workspace.
So now we're going to drag the code into the strawberry workspace. And you'll see that the code is exactly the same. Or oops, actually, I think I have a different set of code. Sorry, Usra. Let me go and fix that.
As coders, it's very common to make mistakes. So that's why we practice our professional coding habits and check our work all the time.
That's right. So while we're on the ball workspace, we're going to drag this set of code into the backpack area. And once we do that, you'll see that this script will appear. Now we'll go back to the strawberry workspace and drag the script out. That's better.
And so since we've done that, we can close our backpack bar because we won't be needing it anymore.
So let's test our code.
It looks like the strawberry and the ball are overlapping. Oh no.
So we need to have the strawberry wait before gliding so that it can come after the ball rather than be on top, right?
Exactly.
And to do that, which block are we going to need? The wait 1 second block. So I think it's time to test our code. The strawberry doesn't seem to be coming. Maybe that's because the ball and the strawberry are gliding too fast. What do you think, Usra? Okay, let's try changing the glide time to 3 seconds. That way it'll slow down a little bit and give the strawberry time to catch up. So go to your ball workspace and make sure that you have glide 3 seconds to X, Y, and to your strawberry workspace and to say the same thing. And then we can test our code. And look, the strawberry comes afterwards. It looks like we're on the right track.
And there are many ways to be solving this problem. For instance, we could make the ball and the strawberry smaller. We could make the hair bigger. We could make the hair jump higher. We could change the time on the wait block, and that's what we'll do.
So when we run the code, there is now space between the strawberry and the ball. So let's test our code one more time.
It looks like
it's working. Let's actually try having our rabbit jump. And look, it looks like the hair can't jump over the ball.
So we need to make our hair jump higher.
You're right. I think we should go back to the hair workspace and then make changes here. And like Usra said, we have plenty of options. We can make the ball and the strawberry smaller so that the hair can jump over. We can make the hair bigger, or we can change the height of the hair jumping. And I think that's the one we're going to go with. So instead of repeat 10, let's try 15.
Great solution. And we've tested our code again just to make sure it works. And so now it looks like that hair is jumping high enough to go over the ball.
Yep, it looks like our code is working. So congratulations, everyone. You all did amazing, and we can't wait to see your projects. But before we do that, we have a couple what ifs that we'd like to ask.
And before we do our what ifs, that's just for completing your code.
Woo, good job, everyone.
And so, what if?
What if we change the wait time on the strawberry sprite? What would happen?
Or what if we change the location of the wait block?
And what if we added a hide and wait block? These are all just ideas and questions that we're asking you to challenge yourself to answer. Coding is about curiosity, so you can test different blocks and see what works best for you.
So, great job, everyone. And guess what? I think it's Menti time or game time.
It is. Let's go back to our slide and get the QR code.
And we have a viewer saying thank you. You're welcome. We're so glad we could teach everyone all about coding.
And here's the congratulations slide we made especially for you because we know you all did an amazing job.
So let me blow the whistle again. So this is our Menti. So scan the QR code or go to menti.com and enter the code 88540625.
So we'll wait a couple seconds for everybody to scan the QR code, and the link will also be put in the chat, and then we can get started.
I can't wait to see the emojis again.
Yeah, me too. That's my favorite part.
So give you guys a couple more seconds. And like mentioned before, class resources will be available towards the end of this live stream or in the description. So
I think we're ready. Let's go check.
Yes.
Whoa, look at all of these emojis.
Whoa. I even see
Which one's your favorite one, Usra?
I really like the donut.
I was looking at that one too. Oh, look, there's a dragon this time.
There's a football. There's a lollipop. A truck. We have a viewer who's a doggy. A bee.
So it looks like a couple more people are signing on.
A lion.
Ooh, the lion's cool.
This is great. Type in the chat, what emoji are you? An airplane? A dragon? A flower? A wolf? A banana? You have so many. The cruise? Let's see. A snowflake? A strawberry, just like the hare. The hare kept eating the strawberry because it was hungry.
Yeah, you can represent our game today. Looks like we have a couple more people signing on, but I think we can get started.
Yeah. So why don't we start our game? There's even a birthday cake.
So first question, what's your gender as always?
10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It looks like this week we have more boys than girls.
All right, let's go to question number 2.
What class range are you in? 2 to 4, 5 to 6, 7 to 8, or other? If I was playing this, I would be an other because I'm in 12th grade.
Me too. Well, I'm in 10th grade.
Time's up. We have
And
a
it looks
majority.
like we have a majority from class 2 to 4.
So let's go to
Okay,
our
so now the game is really beginning.
What is a loop? So now, 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Sequence of instructions. Exactly.
Looks like most of you got it right. You were paying attention. Excellent job. So question 4.
Why are loops important? Give you guys a couple seconds to answer. Do a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Because it
Time's
makes coding easier and saves time. That's right.
Great job. So, next question. Why is it important to personalize your project? Couple seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All of the above, that's correct. It
Great
makes your
job.
projects unique, you become a better coder by exploring different blocks, and it allows you to better understand what the blocks are for. So whenever you can, be creative and explore. It makes you a better coder. This one was really important.
Exactly. And like Mera said, coding is curiosity. And it looks like we have Nora in first place. Top 3. Or question 6. Which one of these is a correct file name? So 3, 2, 1. That's right, the second option. This follows the upper camel case style. So our second to last question. What does the next costume block do? So now you have 10 seconds on the clock. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's right. It changes the sprites' costumes. And our
Great.
last one is a bonus question. That is question 8. So which company got hacked in 2020? Last year. Was it Snapchat, Twitter, Google, or Facebook?
This question regards cybersecurity. So time's up. Great guesses, but the answer was Twitter.
So let's take a look at our leaderboard. Looks like we have a variety of scores. And our winner is Stasha. Woo, good job.
Great, awesome.
So that was fun, but before we leave, we actually have a guest speaker that we would like to introduce you all to.
Her name is Vasu, and she is part of the Raspberry Pi Foundation in India. So let's welcome our special guest, Vasu. We'll give her a couple seconds.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, how are you today?
I am doing good. I'm doing good. How are you, Usra?
I'm doing well. So we have a couple questions ready for you about
All
the
right,
quiz competition.
bring it on.
So,
Bring it.
okay, sounds good. So, can you change your idea after registering for this competition?
Yes, you can. Up until there is a proper procedure to register your project. Up until you don't do that, you can at any time go back to the form that you started filling in. You can change the project name. You can change the project link, and you can definitely edit a few project details. But this is in case when you are, when say the category that you've chosen is Scratch. But in case you have chosen, sorry, I apologize for a sore throat. Um,
That's okay.
but if, say, for example, you have submitted or you made a video, say, for example, you made a robot buggy, a line following robot, and you created a video for yourself and you submit it, then you won't be able to edit it because once you have submitted, you cannot, because then it is in pending stage. Team looks at it, whether they have answered all the questions, whether everything is in place, whether the codes are running or not. So up until you have not hit that submit button, you can go and change, edit anything that you want.
Okay, sounds good. And so our next question is, are there class levels of judging, or is everyone who does Scratch, for example, compared to each other?
That's a wonderful question. In fact, I've just gotten off on a call with a couple of Indonesian kids, and I was also speaking to them. This was a question which was asked there as well. So what we have is different categories, right? So we have Scratch, we have web, games, advanced programming is another category, hardware is another category. So while when you submit the form wherein you are asked your project name, you are asked your name, of course, and then you're also asked your age. So the age does get displayed alongside the project, but every, say for example, if you and I are participating in Scratch category, we will be in the same category, but the lens that will be used for reviewing a young person's project versus a 17-year-old who's submitting a Scratch project will always be different. And since there is no first, second, and third, we are not scoring them as such. The process that is being followed at Coolest Projects is that there will be a panel of judges who will be selecting their favorites. And yes, of course, there will be different criterias for that, but the lens for different multi-age projects will never be the same. There are certain criterias like if the code is running or not, if there is a clear sort of storyline or not. But otherwise, the lens that will be used to view multi-age projects will always be different.
Okay, sounds good. And so you were talking about criteria. So is there a specific criteria that the judges are looking for?
Um, One of the things is that if in case you are participating in the Scratch category, then please make sure to answer those three specific questions that you can see on our FAQs page. There are three specific questions that are being asked, and you need to answer that in the notes and credits section of your project when you're sharing your Scratch project. Apart from that, any other project that you have created or any other, say for example you're creating a video, the criteria are very basic that you need to speak in English and your projects need to be in English for the judges to understand. Apart from that, just make sure, an internal advice to all the viewers, all the children who are tuned in from India and from abroad, as this is a global thing, we want more and more children to sort of participate. Keep in mind that you keep your story, whatever project that you have created, the idea should be clear. If you've identified a problem, that should be clear. And if you've identified a problem, provide, and the solution that you then think of should be very clear. So the storyline that you're trying to bring out should reach us. The story should reach us. And the code should run very basic criteria. The code should run how complex is your project, whether it is clear or not, and yeah, and if it's a Scratch project, then does it answer those three questions also?
Yeah, so earlier we saw one of the featured projects and we showed it to everyone, which was a great project, by the way. So we wanted to know how many projects are actually going to win and how many of them are going to be featured.
Well, again, good question. But there is no number because last year we tried to, and we're all learning, right? Like this is COVID has hit us, has not, I mean, has hit everyone for the first time. And what we are trying to figure out is that if we keep a number, then it becomes increasingly, it becomes a very robotic process for the judges also. That, oh, I have to pick 5 children, oh, I have to pick 10 children, versus we are not keeping any upper limit.
Mhm.
Um, and last year as well, there were loads and loads of projects that were selected as judges' favorites that had a special sort of showcase online. We don't have any uppercut. There is no upper limit to being selected in the specials category, in the favorites category, which is what is equivalent to being a winner, quote unquote, because there is no first, second, and third. Genuinely believe that everyone's a winner. And the only things that is sort of distinguishing is that the judges that we had, the panel, the VIP panel of these global leaders. Last year we had founder of Scratch, Mitchell, also part of that panel. The fact that they select the projects that they like um, becomes the distinguishing factor between a person who's participating in coolest projects versus a person who's participating in coolest projects and is also getting selected as a favorite. Yeah.
Thank
So,
you. So,
yeah,
Yusra, go ahead.
Mira. Okay. So thank you so much for being a guest speaker today.
Oh, what?
We'd like to invite you again some other time during the Starting from Scratch series. Um, so that's basically what we'd like to say. And so thank you again. And we'd definitely love to work again or guest star you in our live show. Mira,
Sure.
do you
No,
have any?
thank
Yeah,
you.
Mira.
I'm sorry. Go ahead,
No, no,
Usra.
go ahead. Go ahead. That's it.
I was just no. I want to congratulate you and your team, the entire bunch, because I know. The organization that you guys are working with, and I'm always happy to join any initiative that CodeTigers run, and what you guys are doing is amazing. I don't know how you're handling the time zone difference. I just don't know how you all are doing it, but it's amazing that you're doing it. And just for the viewers who have joined in, please do participate in Coolest projects, this because this is one of the most important opportunities that you don't want to miss, right? Please feel free to type rpf.io/coolest on your browser, and you will be able to find all the details about coolest. This is not only a chance for you to participate and represent yourself, Code Tigers, or any other organization or the school that you are part of, but this is a time to actually represent your country. And that is what I have been telling all the children that I speak to, be it from India or outside India. This is a global this is a global challenge. It's once in a lifetime opportunity, and because it is all happening online, we are able to participate. Otherwise, it has always happened as an in-person session, and only countries like US, UK, Ireland, they have hosted cool projects, but India has never. And the aim is that we need to show the world that how many people from India can participate. And next year we do one of our own events. So all the viewers, all the children who are joining in, all the schools who are joining is, please make sure to go to rpf.io/coolest and just take part, sign up, and the process is very simple. In case you have any problems, please feel free to reach out to the team at CodeTigers or the team at Raspberry Pi Foundation as well.
Yes, definitely sign up, and we will be reminding you guys throughout the following weeks. But Vasu, thank you so much for coming on. I think it's time to wrap up, so I'm going to share my screen, and we can finish. And just let me know when you can see my screen.
Oh, we can see your screen.
Okay, awesome. So make sure to check out the class resources, which is going to be in the description below. And if you haven't already clicked the subscribe button below, go ahead and do that and click on the notification button as well so that you don't miss any shows or live streams.
So make sure to join us next week to learn about scoring in Scratch. You don't want to miss it.
And until then, we will see you all next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.